Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel. XRP doesn't need a centralized exchange in order to be traded, and I'm not saying that even necessarily because of the fact that XRP Ledger has the first built-in decentralized exchange ever in existence, although that is a fun little tidbit right there. Actually, there's a developer building on top of the XRP Ledger that has added certain functionality which allows the purchase of XRP in, well, frankly, almost anywhere on the planet. There are a few exceptions I'll highlight, but even in the United States. So while we're in a world where the SEC is still attacking Ripple and XRP holders, claiming that XRP itself, just by the nature of it existing, is an unregistered security of Ripple, while centralized exchanges have been delisted in the United States, certainly you can buy it almost nowhere. Here is a new option for individuals within the United States. Now, look, and I'll say this too, I don't understand if there are any particular legal or tax implications of buying XRP in this way. I'm just covering the story, and so I'm not endorsing this or saying that it's bad. I'd kind of be surprised if there were any notable negatives, though, in particular because XRP itself has not been ruled to be a security. But, of course, it's always wisest if you're actually going to use anything to make sure that you've sufficiently informed yourself with, tax and legal professionals technically. So it's just like a little disclaimer here. But setting that disclaimer aside, I think this is like the coolest damn thing on the planet that you can actually do this. And it's done on a developer built it, basically, if I'm understanding this correctly, it sounds like a decentralized exchange built on top of the XRP Ledger, which has a decentralized exchange, effectively. And you can purchase XRP using a bank card. You can use Apple Pay and just self-custody it. It's not a third party holding XRP for you. So just another thing to consider. But before going further, I do want to be clear. I do not have a legal or financial background of any kind. I am not offering legal or financial advice, and you definitely should not buy or sell anything because of anything I say or write. I'm just an enthusiast who enjoys making YouTube videos about crypto-related topics, but just as a hobby and just for fun. Okay, so the latest story, literally from just yesterday from you today, the headline is, "Here is why XRP doesn't need centralized crypto exchanges." But I want to set the table just a little bit so that everybody is caught up to speed on what we're talking about. There was this story also from you today from July 8th, which I covered at the time, titled, "On XRP Partners Up with Banksa. XRP can now be purchased via bank card and Apple Pay." So I'm sure some of you would remember this story just a little over a month ago. And it reads as follows. On XRP, one of the fastest growing XRP Ledger built projects, announced the deployment of the Banksa, that's B-A-N-X-A, Banksa Fiat on-ramp solution into its ecosystem. Thanks to this innovation, on XRP users can now buy XRP using bank cards or Apple Pay. And at this time, the fresh feature is available to users from all continents, with the exception of Russia, Canada, and New York and Hawaii residents. Womp womp. In the United States, it's amazing. Look, you're bringing the functionality to the United States, but because of regulations specifically within New York and Hawaii, which are quite burdensome, the answer is no for you. Now, I think that's ridiculous, but it is what it is. Anyway, Peace continues. Enabling U.S. residents to buy XRP with a bank card was the top priority in developing the innovation, according to a tweet from OnXRP. So basically, there's a developer on XRP building on top of the XRP Ledger, and then a separate entity, Banksa, which does, I was looking them up again today, and they do have a location in the United States. It's in Reno, Nevada, but they're also apparently in Australia and the Netherlands. But anyway, so they do have a presence in the United States here, where I live. I'm in the Midwest of the good old United States here. But they're the ones that actually facilitate getting your fiat currency into or out of the system effectively. Well, specifically in this case, we're talking about purchasing XRP, so into the system. But then it's interesting because they actually met a milestone here. And it's not like at this point it's a new project. I don't even know how much word has gotten out. So it's not like it's been crazily adopted to this point, but it is being adopted. And so check this out. Again, the headline from the latest story from you today. Here is why XRP doesn't need centralized crypto exchanges. On XRP, an XRP Ledger-built modular ecosystem has reported reaching an important milestone for its on-ramp solution. The project stated that 500 United States citizens were able to purchase XRP for their non-custodial wallets directly via fiat, thanks to OnXRP and Banksa's joint service. The total volume of XRP purchased through this on-ramp service equals $500,000 US. Okay, so pause. So not a crazy amount, but I love builders. I love developers out there. I don't have the coding talent or ability or know how to build a damn thing. And so those who are actually building on top of the XRP ledger, which in my mind, they're doing for their reasons, but it helps to ensure, as far as I'm concerned, the long-term viability of the XRP ledger. I love this stuff, so I'm happy to continue reporting this. And for United States citizens, it is another option currently. It's available. You can actually purchase XRP. Now, I still think, like, in terms of purchasing XRP in centralized exchanges, once this BS lawsuit is finally settled or fully adjudicated, I think things are going to get back to normal, so to speak, in terms of where you can buy and sell your XRP in the United States. But in the short term here, it's another possibility. You can do it. So again, they have this is the On XRP website here, and you can see here under the trade section that I'm highlighting, they write a decentralized exchange to trade listed projects, and they have their own token here, OXP. So there's a number of pairs here, but it's fully functional. Now, I haven't personally used this myself, but I'm also not purchasing XRP. That's my largest holding, and if I haven't bought XRP since October 2020 because I bought so much that I recognize if I did not stop, I probably have a problem. So I haven't used the platform, haven't purchased XRP in quite a while. But this is it. It looks like a sharp setup anyway. Now, moving on, I did want to highlight this as well. There was an XRP community member here named Cowboy Crypto who shared this clip of Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse talking. And it may have been from I don't know, a few years back. I think it was before. Feel pretty confident because I remember seeing this before. It's before the SEC actually sued Ripple. But Ripple CEO Brad Garlinghouse made some interesting comments here, referencing Ethereum co-founder Vitalik Buterin, and he also noted that cryptocurrency, not going to replace fiat currency. And I'll let him break down what he says, and then I'll expand upon the thoughts because I have my own perspective on this. And also, Brad was talking about how cryptocurrencies, he'd rather just call them digital assets, which I find interesting because FinCEN said that XRP is a virtual currency, but Brad Garlinghouse, even after that, says, you shouldn't call them cryptocurrency. And he didn't reference virtual currency, but he doesn't like the currency word. He doesn't like the word currency to be, or the currency to be part of the word, rather. But so anyway, I transcribed this thing, and it reads as follows. And this again is from Brad Garlinghouse, Ripple CEO. Vitalik, one of the founders of the Ethereum ecosystem, he was on a panel at a Ripple event, and the question he was asked was, who's the competition? And he pulled out a $20 Canadian bill, and said, this is the competition. I couldn't disagree more. If we go out and say we're going to attack the system, we're attacking fiat. At the same event, we had Ben Bernanke come and speak, and he's like, look, central governments will control M1 money supply. This is fundamental to being a sovereign nation. And so this idea that I agree with Katie, I don't call it cryptocurrency. I refer to them as digital assets. Cryptocurrency suggests I'm going to go to Amazon and buy things with it. End quote. Okay, so there's a lot to break down there, actually. But in terms of Brad's disdain for currency being part of the word cryptocurrency, I respectfully disagree. I agree with Brad Garlinghouse on the vast majority of the stuff that he says as it pertains to crypto and what I've even seen say regarding finance in general. But the word cryptocurrency has a particular definition, and the fact that currency is part of the word cryptocurrency doesn't mean necessarily that it has to be used in place of a fiat currency. So he seems to be getting hung up on that. And the reason I respectfully disagree is because I'm just not getting hung up on that. The cryptocurrency has a specific definition. We're generally speaking also about blockchain technology, typically decentralized systems here. Doesn't necessarily mean, by the nature of that word being what it is, that it's somehow innately trying to replace money. Now, there are projects out there. Look at how Bitcoin was started. Its intent, and it's failed to this point, but the intention from Satoshi Nakamoto was for it to be a peer-to-peer cash system. So, when you're talking about competing specifically against fiat currency, Vitalik's actually kind of right on that point, but that doesn't mean that's what every cryptocurrency is. It doesn't mean that XRP is in any sort of notable way being positioned for that, although even XRP has been positioned by some to be used as money in a replacement of fiat currency because it's a decentralized ecosystem and all sorts of people want various decentralized cryptocurrencies to do all sorts of things. But again, that doesn't mean that this technology existing is just sort of some sort of blanket attack against all of fiat currency. But even if it were, so there's a couple other things to consider beyond this. Look, if the United States dollar doesn't get back on track, and I doubt that it will, at some point, it's going to lose its status as the global reserve. It makes sense that a cryptocurrency or perhaps multiple cryptocurrencies collectively could replace the US dollar. Because if there's some sort of decentralized asset and there's no specific country, there's no particular party that would result in them having special powers over other nations, well, you can see why nations might flock to that in the future, especially if the United States dollar is just getting printed into oblivion. So that's possible. Now, that being said, that is separate from the idea of a nation, a sovereign nation, allowing their fiat currency, even if it's not the United States we're talking here at this point, the idea of a nation just ceding monetary power to some sort of decentralized system. Maybe it happens in some corners of the world, but I'm skeptical at this point, because what would that mean? I mean, even if that happened, who knows additional onerous regulations that would come into place to make sure that you're handing over X amount of whatever the decentralized cryptocurrencies. My point is the power dynamic's not going away. So I don't think they're wanting, like sovereign nations are not going to want to give up the existence of their fiat currency because they can print it, they control all sorts of stuff. And so I agree with that. When Ben Bernanke said something along those lines, fine. But I'm saying even if it happened, nations still won't give up that power, whether it's through tax implications, maybe something a little bit more forceful, police coming in and enforcing so-and-so if certain people aren't complying with certain regulations. Like, nations are not going to just give up their monetary power. It's not going to happen. So, considering that, I mean, I look at what Brad said here, and it's not like he's saying wacky stuff. I just happen to feel a little bit differently on some of these topics. But yeah, in terms of, as they cited here, M1 money supply, which is just for the sake of simplicity, it's the most liquid of money when you're referencing a fiat currency. M1 money supply, it's that which is most liquid. So basically like money that's in checking accounts, like personal checking accounts, stuff like that. And then you can get into like M2, and I think technically, and it's not like I memorized everything that's in each one of these categories. M2 would include the most liquid money, which like checking account money, but also I think like stocks and stuff like that. But M1, it's the actual currency. It's the most liquid at that point. And so no, governments aren't going to give that up. They're not going to give up the power, though, specifically. And that's why I keep saying, like, whether it's the fiat currency or it's extreme management over something that's decentralized, they're still going to have the power dynamic. That's what I'm saying right there. But, I think that there's going to be every effort on the planet to not for a sovereign nation to not get to the point where there is a decentralized cryptocurrency that has completely taken over that of a fiat currency created by a particular nation. But things are going to get messy. Look, I'm telling you, the United States now, it maybe won't happen in my lifetime, but it's not going to persist if you just keep printing the damn thing into oblivion, especially when, from the perspective of other nations who don't want to be subservient to one country that has that power controlling the global reserve. Well, technologically, there are other solutions out there. And it would take time to get to this point where other nations, if they're going to take on decentralized cryptocurrency as a global reserve, well, who's jumping ship first, and what sanctions might be put on such a nation that does that by the United States? Like, there's a lot to consider. There's a lot of moving parts of this, but I'm just saying, if you let enough time pass, to me, it just seems like an inevitability. So, to some degree, I actually do agree with Vitalik when he's talking about them being the money, but it depends on, as far as people building out these systems, everybody's trying to do different things, building on top of different blockchains. It doesn't mean that everybody's trying to use every cryptocurrency to replace the dollar or pick your fiat currency. I just don't think that's true. And fine, yeah, like I said, even XRP, some are trying to position it as a replacement for money. Like, people are using it. One of my fellow XRP YouTubers, James Rule XRP, great guy. He talks publicly about he uses that in place of money. That's what he's using. So it's possible people are doing it. It's just not widespread. So it's not like some sort of imminent danger for the United States government, or really any government at this point anyway. But yeah, things are going to develop and change over time. So anyway, I just had a number of thoughts on that, so I thought I'd break it down. I always think that stuff like this is a fun topic for conversation. So let me know what you think, but I'm wrapping up here. I am not a financial advisor. You should not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the Moon Lambo.